Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 7 Part 7 based on novel. So let's start. Lindong's group continued to hurry towards the 100 Empire Mountain at the center region without rest after leaving the rock fragment area, which was their temporary resting point. Currently, all the people within this region were doing their best to reach the final battlefield. This journey went on for an entire day and things were not too calm during this journey. After all, the core region had currently been turned into a pot to breed poisonous bugs, and since Lindong's group were also part of the bugs, they were unable to escape from the cruel competition. Therefore, even if they did not take the initiative to attack, there would still be quite a number of empires who would be eyeing their Nirvana seals. Lindong did not pity those fellows, whose logic had been overshadowed by greed. Other than a few cunning individuals who escaped during the chaos, most of the people ended up suffering a loss after failing to steal. Instead, they had to surrender their Nirvana seals. After absorbing their Nirvana seals, the color of their heavenly grade Nirvana seals of Lindong trio turned even brighter gold. Even Suru's Nirvana seal directly rose to heavenly grade. In this way, their group had 4 heavenly grade Nirvana seals. If word of this was to spread, it would end up attracting many jealous stares. Tsukue, Mo Ling and the 2 others had also absorbed quite a number of Nirvana seals that were delivered to them. Although their Nirvana seals did not advance to the heavenly grade, there was also a faint golden light flowing within their Nirvana seal. Clearly, they had reached the peak of the Earth grade Nirvana seals. At this rate, it would not be impossible for them to upgrade their seals. Lindong's group rushed towards the 100 Empire Mountain like a thunderbolt with quite a few interlude along the way. However, they enjoyed quite a bountiful reward. As they headed deeper into the forest, the number of individuals who took the initiative to attack them greatly decreased. After all, the 100 Empire War had quite a brutal elimination system. Those who could pass through the many gazes of ill intent and enter this deep region would definitely possess outstanding ability and judgment. Hence, some people were clearly aware of who they should offend, and who they should not offend. Therefore, that kind of provocation was reduced greatly towards the end. However, this left Lindong's group feeling unsatisfied. After all, they wanted to reach the Nirvana Golden ranking, and that would require them to absorb even more Nirvana seals. However, Lindong's group did feel a lot more relaxed since no one came to provoke them. When the second night gradually approached, they had already completely entered the deep regions of the core area. At this rate, it was likely that they would be able to reach that final battleground, the 100 Empire Mountain, in no time. The night covered the entire land and Lindong's group came to a stop. The nights in the core region was even wilder and more violent compared to the nights in other parts of the ancient battlefield. Although Lindong was not afraid, Mo Ling, Tsukue and the others could not ignore it. Of course, the most important reason was because Little Flame appeared to be showing signs of breaking through. Little Flame had already reached the peak of 3 Yuan Nirvana stage back in the ancient treasure trove. He had gained quite a lot after experiencing numerous bloody battles. Additionally, his body possessed a kind of mutated constitution and the bloodline of the Heavenly Devil Tiger tribe. Hence, he would be able to obtain twice the result with half the effort when he trained. In fact, his training progress even caused Lindong to feel a little involuntarily surprised. Their group landed on the top of a mountain. Little Flame did not say any unnecessary words after they landed. He directly sat down with his legs crossed. Waves after waves of powerful Yuan power began to spread apart in front of the shocked gazes of Mo Ling's group. Is he about to undergo the 4th Nirvana tribulation? Tsukue's face was filled with envy. Typically speaking, only those leaders of the super sects could reach this level within the core region at this moment. Lindong's face was full of smiles when he saw this scene. If Little Flame was able to successfully survive the 4th Nirvana tribulation, his strength was bound to soar. With his powerful demonic beast constitution, it was likely that he would even be able to fight against a 5 Yuan Nirvana stage expert if he was to go all out. Typically speaking, those experts in this core region who had stepped into the 5 Yuan Nirvana stage were basically the kind of abnormal beings that had already charged into the Nirvana Golden ranking. It should not be long before you will also be able to attempt the fourth Nirvana tribulation. Standing beside him, little Martin laughed as he spoke. Currently, Lindong's group had plenty of Nirvana pills since they sold 3 crossing disaster pills back at Wanxiang City. Hence, they did not need to worry about running out of Nirvana pills during their training. This was also one of the important reasons why Little Flame was able to show traces of breaking through this soon. Lindong smiled, but he did not deny it. He could similarly sense the surging Yuan power within his body. However, he did not take the initiative to push it. This kind of breakthrough must come naturally in order for it to be the most ideal. Additionally, your mental energy did not show any signs of breakthrough ever since you have survived one wind lightning trial back then. What exactly are you planning? Little Martin glanced at Lindong before suddenly asking. Little Martin knew only too well about Lindong's mental energy talent. Additionally, Lindong was in possession of the devouring ancestral symbol. This was like adding wings to a tiger for his mental energy. The thing that was even more surprising was that his mental energy cultivation seemed to have remained stationary ever since Lindong endured the last wind lightning trial. In fact, while the second wind lightning trial failed to arrive, his Yuan power cultivation had already broken through to the 3 Yuan Nirvana stage. Little Martin was not naive enough to believe that Lindong's mental energy cultivation did not progress after half a year of training. The reason was likely because Lindong had done it on purpose. Have I been discovered? Lindong involuntarily smiled when he heard Little Martin's words. His smile also contained a cunningness that was similar to the one Little Martin usually had. However, he did not elaborate. All he did was to smile slightly and said, "It is a trick. You will get to know about it soon." Little Martin narrowed his eyes slightly. He thought about it but was temporarily unable to decipher Lindong's thoughts. All he could was to shake his head with displeasure. Following which, he turned his head to gaze at the surrounding mountains in the night. He could tell that there were quite a number of groups resting in those mountain peaks. Some experts with shocking strength were amongst them. I think that there will be quite a commotion when Little Flame undergoes a Nirvana tribulation. This place is extremely chaotic and I wonder just how many pairs of eyes are staring here. There are 4 heavenly grade Nirvana seals on our side and they are quite alluring. Currently, the main fighting strength of our group are the 3 of us and Suru. Now that Little Flame is unable to fight because of his trial, our combined fighting strength is at a weakened state. A flicker flashed within Little Martin's purple-black eyes as his voice was transmitted into Lindong's ears. Are you worried that someone will seize this opportunity to attack us? Lindong focused his eyes slightly. He had also sensed powerful hidden aura from the surrounding mountains. It would indeed be a troublesome matter if they were to really stir the desire of others. We are not some nameless individuals in the core region. Others will definitely think twice before they attack us. Lindong spoke with a soft voice after focusing his eyes. He knew that they were unable to avoid it even if there was trouble. However, regardless of who it was who wanted to step over them, it was likely that the person would have to pay a hefty price. He wanted to see just who would be the first bird that stands out tonight. Mo Ling, Tsukue, and the rest clearly understood the current situation. Hence, they immediately became cautious after Little Flame entered cultivation mode. They sat at spots around 100 feet from where Little Flame sat today. Mighty Yuan power suddenly spread. Lindong and Little Martin stood at the edge of the mountain top. Their bodies were just like straight long spears. A kind of shocking sharp aura spread apart in this night sky. Suru sat on a green rock behind these 2. Her pretty face contained a faint caution. Her long fingers were placed on a wrist. Should any unusual incidents occur, she would undo the seal and fight immediately. Clearly, she also understood that she must take over Little Flame's position as the main fighting strength while the latter was making a breakthrough. Bang! Suddenly, an incomparably wild and violent Yuan power erupted on the top of the mountain. A shocking hot wave swept apart. Those trees on the mountain peak crumbled into a withered yellow color at that moment. Meanwhile, the original black night coolness was also scattered at this moment. This commotion did not exceed the expectations of Lindong's group, and it immediately attracted the focus of many practitioners in the surrounding mountains. Immediately, rushing wind sound appeared within the black night. Some figures rushed into midair and looked over at this side from a great distance away. Those gazes were flickering repeatedly in the dark night. Boom! The various different people that had suddenly rushed out were naturally discovered by Lindong. His eyes immediately narrowed as he grasped his hand. A black-colored metal seal appeared within it. Black glow permeated the place as a black seal swelled. It became just like a small mountain that was suspended on the mountain top. A shocking energy ripple swept apart. Heavenly soul treasure. Some exclamations immediately erupted when the black-colored metal seal appeared. Their voices were filled with greed, but it was also mixed with fear and horror. Those who could arrive at this place were no fools. They naturally understood how powerful a heavenly soul treasure was. At the same time, they clearly understood just what kind of powerful fighting strength someone who controlled a heavenly soul treasure had. Some of the people in the night sky, who were about to act, had no choice but to withdraw the greed within their hearts at this moment. Lindong's eyes calmly watched this scene. The people in this place were competitors with each other. Hence, he was not worried that they would join forces. No one would be willingly to show one's back to another partner who could backstab one at any moment. It would be the best if they do not attack, Mo Ling sighed in relief and softly said upon seeing this scene. Lindong smiled. He was just about to speak when his expression suddenly changed. His eyes were dark and solemn as he looked towards the distant night sky. There was suddenly a shocking fire chi rising from that spot. Finally, the fire chi agglomerated into a white-head red-feet enormous fierce beast that had the body of an ape. Fearsome beast of the ancient times, Shuyang. Little Martin's eyes gradually turned icy cold as he looked at the enormous ferocious beast and softly said, "One of the 4 great demon sects, have they finally come knocking at our door?" Lindong's face sunk. The black-colored metal seal on the top of his head began to slowly rotate. For those of you who are curious about the ancient fierce beast Shuyang, do check out our introduction here. The fire-red flame chi was exceptionally glaring in the night sky. Moreover, that faint great wave-like powerful ripple that swept apart also caused countless number of shocking gazes to be thrown over. Is that the fierce beast Shuyang? It is Xiao Shan from the Great Net Empire. He has obtained Zhuyan's inheritance, which belongs to one of the 4 great demon sects. TCH, according to what I know, that 4 great demon sects and the 4 great mysterious sects are enemies. Those of them who had obtained the inheritance of the demon sects must use the fresh blood of those who had obtained the inheritance of the mysterious sects in order to obtain the complete inheritance. Looks like they are also charging towards Lindong. There is really going to be a good show. It is rumored that Xiao Shan had attempted the 5th Nirvana tribulation. Although he eventually failed, his strength was such that he was unrivaled amongst the 4 Yuan Nirvana stage practitioners. Although Lindong's group defeated the Wind Cloud Empire, they might not be able to gain any advantage in the hands of Xiao Shan. Private conversations swiftly spread within the night sky. This mountain peak had quickly become the most eye-catching spot within this area. That enormous beast, which was formed from a bright red flame, swiftly arrived in front of the numerous surrounding gazes. Finally, it appeared in the air above the mountain peak. Quite a number of rushing wind sound were also transmitted from behind. Finally, numerous figures were suspended in the midair and their auras were all quite powerful. Clearly, they were the powerful individuals from the Great Net Empire. A human figure was standing with his hands behind him, within that fierce beast Shuyang, which was formed from a flame. His faint red eyes indifferently stared at the 2 figures on the mountain peak below. The fire chi lingered around before entering his figure bit by bit. Only at this moment was his appearance finally unveiled in front of the many gazes. Xiao Shan was wearing a glaring bright red robes, which was as piercing as fresh blood. Quite a number of people felt a chill within their hearts when they looked at it. Xiao Shan was not considered handsome and his face even possessed a dark red tattoo. At a glance, he looked like a miniature Shuyang. Lindong, you have finally appeared. Xiao Shan stared at Lindong on the mountain peak. His expressionless face was slowly lifted into a smile. His smile pulled at the dark red Shuyang picture and caused his face to be filled with a fierceness. Great Net Empire, Xiao Shan. Lindong softly spoke. He knitted his brows slightly as he stared at this unwelcomed guest. Since you are aware of our background, it is likely that you should understand why I have come looking for you. The both of us have no grudge with one another. However, you can only blame yourself for obtaining the inheritance of the four great mysterious sects. Xiao Shan's voice was extremely hoarse. It caused anyone hearing it to feel quite uncomfortable. This kind of ripple, it seems like someone amongst you is experiencing a nirvana tribulation. It seems like I have picked an opportune time. Xiao Shan's eyes were suddenly thrown towards the mountain peak. After which, he saw Little Flame, who had his eyes shut, and laughed. Extremely wild and violent Yuan power surged over the latter. Xiao Shan, I do not wish to become enemies with your great net empire. Therefore, you should keep yourself in check. If you remain obstinate, it will be too late for regrets when you lose your nirvana seal. Lindong's eyes turned slightly cold as he slowly said. Ha ha, regret. Xiao Shan laughed out loud towards the sky in midair. His laughter was filled with a ridicule. Lindong, I know that your group had defeated the Wind Cloud Empire. However, someone at Fengkang's level is merely ordinary in my eyes. I'm afraid that you are a little naive to attempt to raise your stature in front of me by using this matter. Those experts from the Great Net Empire behind Xiao Shan also released some mocking laughter. Their eyes playfully stared at Lindong's group. In that case, it is pointless to speak anything more. Let's fight. Lindong's eyes were slightly lowered. He clenched his hand and the black-colored metal seal in his hand suddenly rotated. Black glow permeated the place while the black dragon crouching above the seal appeared to show signs of awakening. The teasing expression in the eyes of the experts from the Great Net Empire began to withdraw upon seeing that suspending black-colored metal seal. Clearly, they also sensed the might of this heavenly soul treasure. Xiao Shan's eyes narrowed as he stared at the black metal seal. Immediately, he waved his bright red robes and took a stride forward. He laughed coldly, I have heard many rumors about you, Lindong. Today, I wish to personally try and see if you, a person who had climbed up from a low-rank empire, is really that troublesome to deal with. If you want me to surrender, you should prove it with your abilities. Xiao Shan's body trembled suddenly. Monstrous bright red fire chi swept out. It appeared as though the temperature of the surroundings had been raised. A manic-like feeling lingered around him, causing him to appear exceptionally shocking. Little Martin's purple-black eyes stared at the shocking aura of Xiao Shan. A cold glint flashed across his eyes. However, Lindong extended his hand to stop the former just as he was about to step forward. Little Flame is in the midst of breaking through and must not be disturbed. It is much safer if you are standing guard. Lindong softly said. Other than Xiao Shan, there were 3 others from the Great Net Empire who had reached the level of 4 Yuan Nirvana stage. This was quite a powerful lineup. If they were to intervene and disturb Little Flame's attempt at undergoing the tribulation, it was likely that things would become quite troublesome. Moreover, the one most suitable amongst them who could perfectly protect Little Flame in the face of their attacks was likely Little Martin. Although that fellow has not advanced to the 5 Yuan Nirvana stage, he is stronger than Fengkang, who was at the peak of the 4 Yuan Nirvana stage. Can you handle him alone? Little Martin hesitated for a moment and asked. Lindong smiled. Xiao Shan was indeed quite strong and he was on a different level compared to Fengkang. However, the current Lindong was also much stronger when compared to when he exchanged blows with Fengkang. Protect Little Flame well. Lindong softly instructed. After which, he ceased uttering any other unnecessary words. His body moved and rushed towards the midair under the attention of countless number of gazes. Following which, they turned their attention towards that black metal seal. Good, you have guts. Xiao Shan involuntarily laughed coldly when he saw that Lindong dared to meet him in battle alone. He grabbed abruptly with his hand before a fiery hot wild and violent Yuan power agglomerated in his palm with lightning-like speed. after which it transformed into a 5 feet bright red blade. Following which, that blade shook and emitted a clink sound. Even the air was slashed apart. Lindong, other people have said that you are one of the few people within this 100 Empire war who is able to challenge a super empire with your status as someone from a low-rank empire. Next, I shall witness just whether you live up to your reputation. Xiao Shan's eyes suddenly turned sharp and cold. The crimson-red large blade in his hand furiously slashed downwards. Dozens of enormous fiery red blade glow erupted with lightning-like speed. The blade glow flashed past and actually sealed off Lindong's retreat path. Lindong clenched his fist as he looked at those fiery red blade glow that rushed over. His heavenly crocodile bone spear appeared with a flash. That spear shook, forming numerous sharp spear after images which struck heavily against those blade glows. Sparks shot in all directions. Wild and violent yuan power whizzed and spread. Many of those wild and violent blade glows were completely broken by Lindong's spear after images. I don't have the mood to play with you. You should not use these kind of probing attacks. Dragon Sonic Web. Lindong's eyes turned slightly chilly. The seal formed by his hands changed and the black dragon under his feet immediately let out a roar towards the sky. That black dragon on the seal slowly opened its dragon's eyes and widened his mouth. Black light crazily gathered. After which, it transformed into a black-colored sonic wave amidst the soul-stirring dragon roar and swept out in all directions. These black-colored sonic wave did not rush out in all directions like it did in the past after it swept out. Instead, it gathered together and formed an incomparably large black-colored sonic web that immediately covered Xiao Shan within it. Clearly, after Lindong grew increasingly familiar with this black dragon sky-roaring seal, his control over it was also becoming increasingly proficient. Some shallow scars was cut and formed in the space when the black-colored sonic wave rushed past. Xiao Shan's eyes so elated when he saw this situation. He commented with a deep voice, "You are skilled indeed." "You are right, I also do not have the patience to continue playing with you. Since you are one of the inheritors of the 4 great mysterious sects, I shall allow you to witness what is called the inheritance of the 4 great demon sect. Just watch me finish you off with one attack." Shuyang Demon Spirit. Xiao Shan widened both of his arms. His body trembled violently as a majestic bright red aura suddenly began to gush out from his chest like a volcano. Finally, it agglomerated in a wild manner. Under the numerous stunned gazes, it actually transformed into a 1,000 feet large crimson beast. The enormous beast had an ape's body with copper-red feet. Its head was as smooth and eye-catching as white jade. This was the body of the ancient fierce beast Shuyang, and it was different from the kind of illusionary figure before. The body of this Shuyang actually possessed a peerless fierce aura with a wildness that permeated within it. At a glance, it was as though it had traveled through space and time from the ancient era. Wail! The large beast howled to the sky. Fierce aura spread throughout the sky. A mountain peak-like large claw was suddenly extended out and it actually forcefully shattered that sonic wave web with just a fist. After which, a large hand that carried a huge shadow tore through the empty space. It contained a destructive strength within it as it violently slammed towards Lindong in front of the countless number of shocked eyes. Given that momentum, even a 4 yuan Nirvana stage expert would definitely not live if he was struck by it. Suru on the mountain top was also so frightened, till she covered her mouth in shock due to Xiao Shan's attack. Her large eyes were filled with panic and worry. Little Martin narrowed his eyes slightly. Although he still appeared calm on the surface, some purple-black glow was already agglomerating over the tip of his finger. Roar! An enormous shadow whizzed over and an earth-shaking dragon roar once again resounded over the sky. The black dragon on the black metal seal swelled. Finally, it rose to the air. A dense pressure was also being emitted at this moment. Let's see whose attack will finish off the other party. A fierce glint was similarly surging in Lindong's eyes. He looked at the black dragon that flew out from the black-colored metal seal. A kind of green light suddenly spread over both of his hands. After which, it was ruthlessly inserted into the body of the black dragon. At the same time, a little of the cluster of dragon aura within his body was split apart and poured into the body of the black dragon. You are merely an ordinary member of the dragon race when you are alive. Now, I shall bestow you with heavenly dragon aura. Show me all of your might." Lindong watched the black dragon, which was wildly struggling after having suddenly emitted a bright green glow. A fiery heat surged up his eyes. He really wanted to try and see just what kind of powerful strength it would have after obtaining the might of his heavenly dragon aura. For those of you who are curious about the four ancient fierce beasts, do check out our short introduction on Shuyang and Iwu. Roar! A deafening dragon roar suddenly resounded over the night sky. Sound waves, that were visible to the naked eye, spread over the night sky while being accompanied by an intense pressure. Quite a number of experts felt their skin turn numb wherever the sound wave passed. Immediately, their eyes became much more solemn. They had sensed quite a wild and violent energy ripple from within that sonic wave. Countless number of eyes were instantly focused onto a spot. One could see that the originally rising large black dragon had actually begun to struggle crazily at this moment. While it struggled, a kind of deep green glow began to be emitted from under its black scales. Following which, that peculiar green glow spread across the black dragon's entire body at an alarming rate. The green light spread and the originally black-colored dragon scales of the black dragon actually faintly turned a pale green color while the entire dragon body began to swell. Green light lingered over its huge dragon claws. It was as it could easily shatter an entire mountain with just a slam of its claw. The heavenly dragon aura was a unique energy that only a relatively high-ranked member of the dragon tribe possessed. Although the black dragon was also considered part of the dragon tribe, it was clearly far from this level when it was alive. Now that Lindong had poured the heavenly dragon aura into it, this was undoubtedly providing a divine aid to that dragon soul. The black dragon currently transformed into a quiet green color due to the mixture of the green light. Its icy cold large body slowly meandered. It was as though it had a metallic body that was emitted an old and hardy feeling. The dragon soul within the heavenly soul treasure her. Shan stared at the dragon soul that had formed in the sky from within the enormous body of Shuyang. A grave expression flashed across his eyes. Lindong's strength might only be that of a 3-yuan nirvana stage, but his fighting abilities caused even him to experience some palpitations within his heart. No wonder he was able to defeat Feng Kang's group. Although it was a dragon soul, it was merely the soul of an ordinary member of the dragon tribe. Humph, this fierce beast Shuyang of mine contains some of the original Shuyang aura. In the ancient era, the fierce beast Shuyang will kill members of the dragon tribe without hesitation. Brat, surrender your nirvana seal. Shan laughed coldly. The enormous Shuyang's body outside extended its large hand explosively. The hand appeared as though it was chasing the stars and the moon as it grabbed towards that dragon soul. Wherever the large hand passed, even the air itself began to emit a bang as it exploded. Although the reputation of the fierce beast Shuyang is quite strong, all you possess is its form. I'm afraid that you do not have the ability to snatch my nirvana seal. A coldness surged within Lindong's eyes. He looked at the dragon soul, which fierceness had suddenly soared at this instant. His eyes suddenly turned sharp. He waved his hand down, before the enormous dragon tail broke through the air with a swing. Meanwhile, its large quiet green dragon claw carried an enormously great energy that seemed to be able to split the world, as it ferociously clashed with the fierce beast Sunyan, that was charging over in front of the countless number of eyes. Boom! In the night sky, two enormous beasts violently collided before an incomparably fierce violent energy ripple swept downwards. At that instant, a loud sound that one could describe sounded out. It shook the eardrums of quite a number of people until their ears hurt. Boom boom boom. The quiet green dragon entrenched itself while the fierce beast Shuyang roared. These two large beasts collided with a shockingly crazy speed under the night sky. Their claws furiously smashed around as waves after waves of shocking energy ripple began to crazily sweep apart in the sky. Some of the surrounding mountain peaks also began to collapse under the cover of that ripple. Many experts in the night sky looked at the two enormous beings rampantly colliding with each other. Their faces were incomparably solemn. They could sense that each of the attacks by both the dragon soul and the fierce beast Shuyang could force a 4-yuan nirvana stage expert into quite a miserable state. As these blows began to sweep apart, it was likely that there was hardly anyone here who could block all of them. Lindong really lives up to his reputation. He is actually able to fight with Shan in such a manner. Some people involuntarily let out a murmur on top of having a grave face. It was fortunate that they did not directly lose their reasoning because of greed previously. Otherwise, if they were the ones who were currently fighting with Lindong, it was likely that just one slam from the Dragon Soul would likely seriously injure a majority of 3 Yuan Nirvana stage experts. Bang! Another incomparably fierce collision occurred in the sky. The Dragon Soul and the soul of Shuyang were shaken until they were pushed back for over 1,000 feet. The momentum was unusually shocking. This fellow, Shan, whose actual body was hidden within the body of Shuyang, felt her incomparably fierce and violent strength. He involuntarily clenched his teeth. In this battle with Lindong, Shan did not hold back at all. Summoning the demonic spirit of Shuyang was one of his powerful killing moves. However, he had never expected that even this move failed to do anything to Lindong. My strength is more than just one level stronger than you. I want to see just how long you can endure. Shan's seal technique changed as a cold glint flashed across his eyes. An increasingly stronger Yuan power swiftly swept out from his body. Immediately, Juyen's body began to swell. Humph! When he saw Shan relentlessly pestering him, Lindong clearly felt a little irritated. He let out a cold snort and waved his hand. That black dragon sky-roaring seal suddenly wheezed over. After which, it became just like a small mountain. Its dark black color emitted a shockingly heavy feeling. Heavenly Dragon Seal. Lindong's expression was solemn. His hand seals directly changed and the quiet green dragon soul suddenly roared towards the sky. It transformed into a majestic green light that completely surged into that enormous black metal seal. Following the pouring in of such a mighty energy, the quiet green light began to flash over that metal seal. Finally, it vaguely transformed into an enormous crouching dragon figure. That black metal seal shook intensely. Finally, it suddenly came slamming down furiously. It was just like a mountain that was suspended in the sky as it violently smashed onto Xuyen's enormous body. Clang! The stunning loud sound reverberated over the place as that frightening strength, which permeated from the black-colored seal, actually forced that demonic Shuyang soul back for a couple of 1,000 feet. Numerous arm-sized thick crack lines began to appear on the latter's enormous body. Lindong's fatal attack had directly shattered the body of the demonic Shuyang soul. The might that was unleashed when the Heavenly Soul Treasure collaborated with the Heavenly Dragon Aura was actually this frightening. Crack! The cracked lines on the demonic soul began to swiftly spread in front of the many shocked eyes. Finally, it emitted a boom and completely fell apart. A wave swept apart and the forest below was forcefully turned into flat land. The explosion of the demonic soul also resulted in a figure shooting backwards in a somewhat miserable manner. His toes continued to press on the air and the air behind him continued to explode because of the frightening strength that seeped out from within his body. That figure flew for a total of 1,000 feet in distance before finally stabilizing himself in a miserable manner in front of the many gazes. Immediately, that figure raised his head, revealing an ugly face. He was Shan. Chief! Those experts from the Great Net Empire had a drastic change in their expressions when they saw this scene. Clearly, they did not expect that this incomparably powerful Shan to be forced into such a miserable state in a battle with Lindong. Attack! Capture the rest! Shan's eyes became fierce and ruthless as he cried out in a stern voice. After this battle, he had already understood just how strong Lindong was. Naturally, he was unwilling to fight alone. Their Great Net Empire had many people and it was likely that they would be able to gain the upper hand if they attacked together. Yes, sir. A fierce glow also flashed in the eyes of those experts from the Great Net Empire after hearing Shan's cries. They immediately rushed out and attacked Little Martin's group on the mountain peak. All of you should not move. Little Martin's eyes turned slightly cold as he looked at the experts from the Great Net Empire swarming over. He let out a cold cry before flicking his 10 fingers. Purple-black glow directly transformed into 10 purple-black chains that erupted out. It appeared as though it was a layer of dragonet, trapping all of the experts from the Great Net Empire. Boom boom. Those experts from the Great Net Empire attacked one after another when they were blocked by Little Martin. Powerful martial art attacks smashed onto the layers of dragonet. However, the thing that caused them to be slightly shocked was that even if they were to join forces, they were still unable to break that layer of defense. Immediately, their hearts turned cold. They looked at the distant handsome man with icy cold eyes and began to vaguely feel an uneasiness. So many of you, yet all of you are actually unable to break his defense. What are all of you doing? Shan similarly felt that things were not quite right while he cried out furiously. He seemed to have underestimated the strength of Lindong's group. Damn it. If I have known earlier, I would have called the Blood Seal Empire over. Shan clenched his teeth. The Blood Seal Empire, which he spoke of, was naturally another empire that had obtained one of the 4 great demon sects' inheritance. It is likely going to be difficult to succeed today. Looks like I need to beat a retreat first. Shan's eyes flashed and he actually had some intention to withdraw. However, this thought had just formed in his heart when a shocking wind strangely appeared above his head. Immediately, he hurriedly raised his head only to see Lindong's emotionless face. I have given you a chance. Yet, you continue to press your luck. In that case, you should not blame me for showing no mercy. Killing intent surged within Lindong's eyes. Clearly, he had been angered by Shan's actions. He extended his hand and a green light surged uncontrollably. One could see layers after layers of green scales swiftly appeared on his hand. After which, his hand swelled and his entire hand had actually transformed into a green-colored dragon claw. In the past, Lindong was merely able to transform into a dragon finger. However, after experiencing the big battle from the last time, Lindong's mastery of the green heaven materialized dragon skill had clearly improved tremendously. Currently, he was able to transform his hand into a dragon claw. Green dragon palm, shattering soul. The dragon palm whistled as it rushed down. That green light was torn into nothingness. Immediately, Shan could only look at it flash by with a shocked expression. After which, it carried an incomparably fierce aura as that enormous dragon claw ruthlessly landed on his body. Bang! A frightening strength was discharged and Shan immediately spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Lindong grabbed Shan's hand just when the latter was falling. Amidst his furious eyes, Lindong completely absorbed the shiny golden heavenly nirvana seal on the latter's hand. Heh, such a forceful heavenly nirvana seal. Looks like you have absorbed the seal of quite a number of people. However, I have ended up benefiting from it. Lindong looked at his own palm that gradually had an additional trace of purple-gold color after absorbing the nirvana seal of Shan. A strange smile involuntarily appeared on Lindong's face. This video will end here.